star. Plant a miniature flag in your heart. Where you waking up today, my little runaway?
In a difficult year for the gaming industry, a lot of publishers have relied on familiar IP and appealing to new and casual markets to keep the balance sheet looking healthy. This has meant that to a more traditional gamer, a lot of purchases have felt a bit like Groundhog Day, or even shortchanged by a lack of content and overpriced DLC. The flip side of this is that not only have we had a lot of old friends revamped, it's also meant that a retro edge has reared its pretty little head to a lot of games. And no game demonstrates this more than this one. Sonic, an iconic character who pretty much represents Sega and its history, and one that perhaps has been treated with less care than his Nintendo counterpart, finally has a title to sit proudly along those 16-bit classics. I still find it ironic that Sonic now makes his bed on what back on the playground would have been considered the enemy with Nintendo's console, and a hint of sadness that he no longer has a console to call his own. But that being said, and rose-tinted spectacles aside, it's nice to see that Sega have acknowledged what made Sonic great in the first place. Challenging platforming, intelligent level design, hidden paths to find, myriad of items to collect, times to beat, bosses to destroy, oh and of course breakneck speed. Add to this some shape-changing aliens that allow Sonic to navigate his environment in new and interesting ways, and the game issues the player with Miyamoto levels of surprise and delight. Although this title isn't as innovative as Mario's recent outings, it has certainly benefited from his example, and I for one am not going to complain. We joined Sonic and Tails in Dr. Eggman's new theme park, as Sonic, with tongue firmly in cheek, admits that his old enemy must have some sort of evil plan of world domination. Otherwise, what's the point? That plan happens to be kidnapping and harnessing the power of some innocent and cute aliens. They have to be cute or you won't care, will you? Will you? You miserable shallows. A power that also handily gives Sonic a load of new gameplay elements. Stick to walls, drill through floors and shoot high into the sky, and more. All combined with Sonic's original abilities to allow the player to explore each level with more than just trying to get from one end to the other as fast and as fluid as possible. Although you can still do this if that's what floats your boat. And the fun that's had in doing this more than makes up for the tenuous, albeit humorous storyline. The game cleverly mixes 3D and 2D sections, with these retro style sections providing the real meat of the action, and the 3D sections sometimes feeling a little soulless and on rails, even if visually they provide the most amount of eye candy. The levels also feel as though they have much more height and depth than ever before, with left to right no longer being the only direction to go, and the aliens' abilities constantly teasing you to head in another direction and explore what goodies could be hidden above and below the screen. The title is also a challenging one. In spite of it being aimed at a younger audience, it still understands its appeal to older gamers, and keeps the difficulty level at a point that even seasoned gamers will find frustrating at times. Sonic Colors even dares to bring up the game over screen when you run out of lives. Shock, horror. The all ages appeal also means that here is a game that you can play with your kids without feeling patronised, and the game of course includes a split screen 2-player action. The title doesn't really utilise the Wii motion controls, and do you know what? Good. Good! It doesn't need it. Hats off to Sega for not trying to tag on some useless waggling just for the sake of it. And even though you can still play with a Wiimote and nunchuck, it feels equally comfortable with the classic controller or GameCube pad. So it's finally a quality title for Sonic. And fortunately, it no longer needs to start any scuffles in the playground, as the format has been taken out of the equation. And we're all friends now, aren't we? Including Mario and Sonic. Even if it does feel a bit dirty. Like Lindsay Lohan. So, in spite of some annoying music, this game is a breath of fresh air. And how does it do it? By looking into the past and using the inspiration of old and new classics to finally give a title worthy of the Mega Drive. Wii. I miss the Mega Drive. Make us console again, Sega. Please! Please! The kids have got nothing left to fight about in the playground. It's a travesty!